Khanyi.
Khanyi Mbau used to look like Wesley. Because like that's almost like just saying, I'm looking at you and I've made up my mind what type of person you are because you're just that shade of skin. You understand? That's just weird, man. Like, you understand? Next thing you'll be saying I'm fit now because I'm light skinned. Like I don't go to the gym and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You understand what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
I think that's how privilege works, right? Like, obviously, if you're perceived to be superior without you having had to prove your worth, then that's privilege. You're privileged in that sense.
yeah.
Right, so it's like, let's say if Pearl Thusi gets whatever roles that she gets before an audition, then we can obviously now point it out and say she's privileged. She's never had to audition for this. It's just a color that,
But now who's wrong in the privilege? Is it her fault?
it's not
or
her
is
fault.
it the industry's fault now?
It's
for
not.
the rules they've made.
It's not. So it's like, people gave this contrast, right, between how Shoma Josie tackles the issue of colorism and how Pearl Thusi does it. So it's
Okay.
like with Pearl Thusi, she's more like, it's not my fault. Well, I work hard, and you should work hard too. Maybe you can get to the same place that I am, right? So I guess she's telling the truth,
Okay.
right?
I mean, well, not entirely the truth.
Exactly.
I mean, there is
No,
a
I just
form of
meant like,
privilege to it.
well, maybe that's how she sees it. Yeah, privilege is there, but what I'm saying is that she probably does work hard for real.
Possibly, but the thing is now she seems to be in denial of the fact that there is privilege.
Exactly, right? So that's the thing. That's the first point to take from Pearl Thusi, right? The other thing is how Shoma Josie.
Okay,
in
so
contrast.
how does Shoma Josie?
So she plays this part where she identifies this problem as a feminist issue. Like women are the only ones who are affected by this. Like, as in, if you are to go into a relationship or something like that, right? You'll be chosen because of the color of your skin, right? So it's like we've been seeing dark-skinned actors, main actors.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them.
Blade, your Wesley Snipes,
Denzel.
Tyrese.
A lot of these.
Exactly,
people are
right?
dark-skinned.
Even footballers.
Even football. Like, Chief, I've seen a lot of successful black people, like with
Dark
pigments.
men,
Dark
right?
men.
Exactly. So it's like, so what she is saying is that it becomes a feminist issue because, well, who then is imposing the standards? It has to be the white male, right?
Okay.
Because obviously, if we still perceive each other as if the other is inferior to the other, then obviously there's some white supremacists who put in this system, right? And then it's only working on women. So then obviously it's the males that hold these standards, right? So it's like you choose a partner based on your preference. And the preference that is prevalent right now is that guys just prefer light-skinned women, right? So it's like we haven't grown as a society for as long as we let the men hold the standard, basically. So it's like, well, this is to ladies though. So I'm not saying like it's the best way to go about it, but I feel as though she tries to and dig deeper into this whole thing and not deny that it's there. She is light-skinned,
Yeah.
right? So she's now saying that as women, I think there's something that we can do for each other so that this divide is not so pronounced, between the darker and the light-skinned women. So it's like, I don't know how they plan to deal with it though.
It's a tough one.
Because it's like if they are saying that men are after the lighter skinned women, and we also look at the anthropological studies that I was telling you about, where these guys who had not been in contact with white people were saying they preferred the lighter skinned women. All right. It's obviously a very old pandemic also.
It's been there for a while, I'm sure.
Right. So it's like white supremacy has something to do with it.
Obviously,
Right?
bro. Obviously. I think so as well.
Right. And I think also as a society we are also shallow.
I think we've been trained.
Yeah.
I think we've been trained to be shallow. To be shallow. Man.
Exactly.
Like if you look at in the States, I'm not sure if it happens here in SA as well. Well, people were saying it is happening now with black coffee, but you'd find that black cats, they become. It's like you find a black man becomes successful, man, and then dates a white chick.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, and then there's a trophy wife. Kanye has one. O.J. Simpson had one.
Exactly.
You can
So
see
it's
the
like,
trend. So I think even Ice-T's wife is white, right?
is it? So that's what do you call it? Like, it's divided across racial lines, right? So what they're saying is that that racial divide is what inspires
The light
these
skin
divides now. You're like, oh, okay, well, we are both black, but you are more light skinned and this one is
versus
darker.
white.
So, obviously between the two, one is more privileged because they are preferred.
Yeah, even
The
Trevor
most.
Noah makes fun of that in his book. Where he says his grandmother said to him that he should be the one to pray for the family because he's closer to God's pigment, so God will if he prays. for the
Yeah, you
family.
see, which is why we can't deny white supremacy in that sense, because it's like if we all believe that God is white, and now your grandmother is saying that and seeing that, so obviously the cancer it comes from a long time.
But that's what I was saying, Chief. This thing comes from our parents, bro. I think for us, man, yeah, and the thing is because they were taught a specific way, man, because of the whole system they survived in or lived in.
So,
Yeah.
so you say this colorism is a feminist issue. In what way? Do you mean that
Only women
men,
are really
men don't
No,
are not
but-
affected by?
I
They
think they
are.
do, but it's like,
But it's
you know,
deeper for women.
yeah, that's what she was saying. So from her own experience, right? A dark-skinned guy can get any lady
You see,
for as long as he ticks off some of the common boxes, like maybe wealth,
which is funny. though, man.
many of the shallow shit that.
Yeah.
But
You
if you
know,
think about it, though,
yeah.
man, you guys actually have the privilege, yeah. There. When
What
it comes to
privilege?
males, the dark guys, yeah, there's
How?
What
how
privilege,
so?
my nigga?
How so?
Ninja, what
Except
do
for
you-
the thought that
No,
niggas
no.
is packing.
No, besides the tagging stuff. Yeah, well, that as well.
Yeah.
But what is
Which
the
is not
ideal,
true,
man,
but-
for black communities? Tall, dark, and slender. That is still the ideal, bro.
But
I
who came
spoke
with
to
that
my-
ideal though?
That's the thing. Woo.
So that's my thing also. Like now we flip that back to women now. If now cats prefer the lighter skinned women, how is that now a different issue to
The women
women
preferring
just
dark
preferring the dark skinned people?
You see now.
Right? And okay. Maybe this is unfair because we never get to hear from the dark skinned women. What do they like? Do they like the tall, dark, and slender?
We
cats?
don't know.
I,
We don't know, bro.
I've heard of this story where it's like a girl is like dark skinned, right? And then they'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna marry a light skinned guy so we can put some paint to the kid. Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
exactly. So
Add milk to the coffee.
is
man.
it right? Right. So it's like, I mean, where do we stand now? Because obviously, there's this thought that I have that obviously these dark skinned women also have preferences, and we can't really police it because if you do now, it's too much on them.
Yeah.
you see, I think they're putting a
Milk.
Penya and Ghana to the Kenyan. It stems from the fact that babies when they're young,
We
they
made fun of
are light skin.
So dark.
If you come with a dark Yana baby, then the whole society will start to study.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
going on with this one.
Exactly. It
So-
goes back to that other video that we watched, right?
Yeah.
Choosing the dog baby as the one that's, what I mean.
The ugly and
Yeah, the ugliest one, yeah.
It's always associated with that because like my
Yeah.
sister had a baby and the baby was black, man.
at a young age.
The young, well, yeah, he's still dark now, but
Yeah.
obviously much better.
Mm.
Yeah, they made fun of the baby young.
So which is why the women.
They're like, yeah, this baby's so like it's like a
Yeah, it's crazy.
So which
yeah.
is why the female now would prefer to have kids with lighter skin niggas, so that the babe can come up a bit lighter.
So
if she's dark.
So it's just not a case of opposites attract.
But the funny thing is, man, even if you have a baby with a light skinned nigga, that nigga might have like
Dark-skinned
a
genes, yeah,
dark-skinned- yeah, he obviously he's
Yeah,
black, so he has.
Yeah,
dark-skinned
so when the
genes.
chromosomal pairing happens,
You
there
see?
you.
You never know which chromosomes are going to be.
So-
That
so-
baby might be darker. Than
So where is this coming from? That if the baby is too dark, then there's something wrong. She can't be accepted in the society. And she'll
Bruh,
be
that's
called
my thing,
naked
like,
or-
it's-
where is it coming from?
That's my thing. It's
It's
like
our trauma, man.
Yeah.
Of how we were treated by the white people.
you see, and I feel as though
It's just
that
trauma that
Yeah.
people are just passing on. That's why I said the problem is.
So it
actually our
emanates
parents.
from that, and then it's
Oh,
still
yeah.
going out of control.
Bro, I think the problem here is our parents, man, and their parents.
Yeah.
You know how trauma is, Chief? It's like when J. Cole says the abuser becomes the abuser. Or the abused becomes the abuser.
yeah, of course.
Someone treats you a specific way, and you hold that as how things are.
Mm.
You don't question your own feelings. And now you're stuck in this victimhood where you're just passing on this mentality of
Yeah,
yours to
this-
the next
yeah.
person. If it's almost like with my brother now, because I was not the aggressive cat who was running on the streets. He saw me as a type of weird person. Yeah, like, why are you not chasing women and playing girls?
Yeah.
You're so light skinned, and I'm sure you would survive. You know, like farewell.
Oh yeah, of
I'm
course.
like, but it's still a choice that I have to make, bro. But even that becomes a problem now when you get older. Oh, light skinned niggas are picky. If you're not picky and you have a lot of girls, light skinned niggas are players. Where should a person be now? Like, you see what I mean?
Hey, my nigga, I think you should just own it, man. Own the privilege.
So
But how is that a privilege, though, bro?
Nah,
If you look at it.
I'm just playing with you. But anyway, it's No, yeah, you were about to say something.
I was like, so we all agree that the root cause is
It's the
slavery.
trauma. Yeah.
I understand the
how
trauma, but it's like
But how do we rid ourselves of that?
no, wait, no, wait.
PTSD.
No, let's
counseling, I guess.
let me take you back a few steps here.
Yeah.
Yeah? I don't fully agree that it's just the trauma, bro. Because
what
then,
else could it be?
okay, if a normal society where there hasn't been any white people influence in it, don't you think that guys there will have something that they hold as something that's fire for them
But it could
in
be.
that culture, though?
But think about it. It's an isolated group of people who's in one society who just prefer light-skinned people. Sometimes it's a cultural thing for them.
Yeah, but okay, so
That
let's
doesn't mean that every other
okay,
culture-
so let's look at the standard tall, dark, and slender. Where do you think that came from?
I wouldn't know, bro. Like, where maybe the Maasai, for them, it's advantageous to be tall or whatever. The sun, if you're darker, you have more protection against the sun. I wouldn't know, bro. But for
Oh,
other
so you
people,
think it
being
might
dark
have like an
is a
evolutionary?
advantage, obviously. It depends
Okay.
on where you are, on which part of the world you are in as well, man. And how being light skinned helps you to survive in that place. Or how, for example, the stuff we just spoke about now about the first Swedes who are actually dark with blue eyes, right? They would never survive in that place now for a long time because their skin would not take in vitamin D.
Oh,
Because
so
they're too
then
dark
that had to
skinned.
change.
Which is why they said now the other light skinned people came from the east and they interbreeded with them. They actually required that interbreeding for them to survive. Which is why
Okay.
it's always said if you have an isolated gene pool, right, they'll die out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you
understand?
would obviously want for there to be, new genes introduced into the society so you can survive. But now here's what I'm saying, right? With all of this happening, I mean, you get people selecting against other people because of their competitive advantage, right? Like the tall, dark, and slender thing that you just talked about right now. So why then can we not look at that also with colorism, with certain people that have preferences towards the lighter skinned women?
But it depends now. Like, how does colorism help you in terms of this evolutionary?
No, well, it's bad when we say colorism, right? It is bad because obviously there's obvious effects that we are seeing that, Pearl Thusi got
The job.
over other people because she's light skinned, right? So it is a problem. That's why it's called colorism, right? So it's bad. But what I'm saying is like we're trying to find the stem where this thing came from. So we do understand the white supremacy thing, but I'm just saying like, okay, that thing removed. Do you think
Right, it's just white supremacy.
people would not be selected for certain things, like especially in relationships? I think that's where it will be. Basically, I don't think you'll not be a king because you're not dark skinned or whatever. But I'm saying like in a relationship setting.
I think people will be selected for their capabilities.
Where?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's in
Yeah.
the workplace, right?
No, what? Ah, man.
Oh, yeah.
In the workplace,
even in a relationship.
in the
I guess.
relationship
because
as
it's
well.
like I heard the story, right? Like it's when they're interviewing these people from like a long time back, they'll be saying now that okay, normally a cat will go for a darker skinned lady, but because for a light skinned lady, right? They'll go for the lighter skinned lady, right? Normally, that's what they were saying. I'm not saying this is true.
Okay.
And then they would go on to say, but if you wanted somebody that will do the most for you,
Go to a dark
go to a darker skinned
Yeah,
lady.
I saw
Exactly.
that.
Yeah. So it's like
I saw that.
the dirty work, that's done by the dark skinned ladies. That's what they're saying. That's
exactly
what they
that.
imply.
It is what it is. So it's bad
I
though.
wouldn't say it was dirty work though, man. The guy was just saying, like, for example, if you go on a date with a girl, let's say you go out with the light skinned one, she'll just be there, man, expecting you to do everything.
Exactly.
Go buy the drinks. She'll just be sitting.
Bruh,
Whereas
it's
dark
not.
one would actually be
Bruh,
more,
it's no
like, you
conspiracy.
want me to do this for you, like it's fine. I'll do
Bruh.
it, stuff like that.
So it goes back to the media pushing this agenda. The light skin are
Exactly,
like
yeah.
a trophy
Exactly.
wife,
I
guess,
trophy
yeah.
girlfriends.
You see?
But the dark one, you keep it at home. Only dating.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Yeah.
but it's no conspiracy though that most slave queens are light skinned.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't see.
Yeah,
more-
don't know.
yeah, I've been
Right.
saying,
It's no conspiracy. So it's like normally if you go on a date with a slave queen, she's obviously expecting you to do the most, my nigga, and she'll just be chilling there. You are the entertainment, and if it doesn't go well, you were boring. She cannot be boring, my nigga. She cannot be boring. So it's like that's you see. So that's crazy. So now if you go out on a date with somebody darker skinned who doesn't think of themselves as that highly placed the same way that light skinned women will be,
Hey, Ninja,
then
I'm
you
not-
might enjoy that date like for some people. That's what they might say because she doesn't feel like she's all that. She knows she's pretty, but she doesn't feel like she's above everybody else because of her skin color. So we're on the same level now. So it's like the date will be fire. She will also be under pressure to impress you in some way. So that will obviously make you feel great. That's what they're saying. So it's, hey, bro, I don't know, man.
You see, this thing has been on our subconscious mind for a long time. Because
Exactly,
I remember,
yeah.
I think in grade 7 or grade 7, grade 9, I had a dark skinned chicken,
Yeah.
And then she would joke around every time that, hey, we kind of have babies. We are both dark. Imagine if
Exactly,
they
yeah.
come out looking like.
You
So
see, that insecurity there is too much, man.
Yeah, so
But these are real issues, though, and this is things that people
These are-
face.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wonder though, man, in countries like Somalia, where most people, or Kenya, where most people are just dark skinned, right?
Or
It's
Uganda.
only or Uganda, where it's only like a few light skinned people, right? Do light skinned people actually have privilege there, man? Or is it a shame now to be light skinned there?
I don't know, man. Well, the narrative is as if the lighter skinned women are preferred. So it's like if you go on social media, right? It's like there was this time when there's always like Twitter wars, between wherever and whatever, right? So it's like sometimes somebody just goes and pops off and says, which ones are the prettier women, the South Africans or maybe Ugandans or stuff like that, right? And then they'll start citing the light skinnedness of most white South Africans compared to the other cats. And those cats from there will now say, no, we're not properly represented here and stuff like that. So it's like, so it's like they I think it's not a big problem when it comes to two people dating. They know, okay, you are dark, it's fine. You can achieve the highest order of love, I guess, with your person as long as you understand them. But then I think like society as a whole, I think it's like a thing shared amongst all of Africa that the lighter you are,
I've seen it now, man.
the better. So it's like even if the whole country is dark, you're constantly thinking that I should go to some other place, then maybe I might get full satisfaction, my nigga. So it's like crazy.
Yeah, man, because I heard in Nigeria, skin bleaching products, man. Like
Yeah.
doing the things, bro. Doing
Exactly.
the things, then. Because I remember now, nice made fun
Flooding
of me
the
in
markets.
undergrad, remember?
Oh yeah, I
They
remember.
were saying
Yeah.
that I'm using Congo product. And then I was confused, like, what the fuck is Congo product? Like, but then I realized, it's bleaching. Because she was saying that the knuckles, because it turns out if you bleach yourself, right?
The knuckles, the
will
knee
stay
caps,
dark.
the knee patches there will always be there.
Will always be dark, yeah. You understand?
Yeah.
So I think it's only now I understand because mine are also a bit dark. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So then I was like, hey, maybe my mom was bleaching.
Yeah, but that's like
As a baby.
nah, but it's like that's where cartilage is, because obviously those are the toughest parts of your thing. So it's like dead skin cells basically.
And they fold,
Right.
making it more difficult.
You see, so it's like even if you're gonna use, but it's not the same thing that Khanyi is using though. She made that clear.
Yeah,
No, it's
she
not.
said it's more
It's not.
advanced.
It's
Yeah,
more advanced.
Exactly. So it's not.
She has to get injections and stuff, and
yeah.
But when I look at this thing, right, like I remember in high school when I started, obviously you have a crush on so many people, you even forget like who it is you started off with. But it's like now you hear when people are describing like the kind of chicks that they would want, they'll say, I like that one with light skinned legs, Fanta, my G. Like even getting to the point of saying Fanta, like
Fanta orange.
yeah, dog. As opposed to the Coca-Cola, right? Like the cola.
But I wonder though, bro, is this stuff more about because I'm dark skinned, I would like a light skinned person for the balance, and because I'm light skinned, I would like a darker person for the balance.
Yeah, that's another.
You see, that's what I was saying. Like I wanted to check, because we normally don't hear a lot from the dark-skinned women, unless if you're in a relationship with someone like that. Then they'll go like, you see, like his story.
Yeah.
He dated a dark-skinned lady who now said, it probably would have been better if you were light-skinned so that we can, mold a lighter-skinned baby. So what's gonna come out of us is gonna be very dark. You see.
Yeah.
So it's like now I think. So here's what I think. Here's my analogy, right? Here's when I analyze this thing. I think people always had preferences, but then the punishment that comes with not being selected due to your skin tone is what's hard, and it's exactly what makes it, what can I say, more painful. So it's like the white supremacists obviously made us see these differences, right? And now people don't get selected for certain jobs and whatever because of the color that they are, right? That's obviously bad because obviously now you can't get a job. But back in the day, I think people still selected against certain groups. But then it didn't mean you're gonna die alone, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's
And
always
you
someone
still,
that likes you.
yeah, if you were light skinned and you were tough, you would still beat everybody in the clan and become king,
Yeah.
right? So I think now the privilege is now, though. I think if you're lighter skinned, you're more likely to get a boyfriend.
I suppose.
That's how it's starting to look like. Especially if you hear stories like what he just said.
But man, I don't know, man. But anyway, that's
But let me ask you, what is your preference?
bro, that's one thing. Like,
You don't really have a preference.
Ninja, I've met dark skin fires I like, Ninja. Like.
But you have a preference, though. You like somebody that's pretty, right?
I mean, obviously the person should be pretty.
So-
and
so-
That's
okay,
what
so
the
that's what
Dalai Lama
attracts
said
you.
as well.
That's what attracts you.
So okay. So now, will it be wrong now for the darkest, not the darker skinned, for the uglier girls to complain about the, what do you call it? The privilege of the beautiful.
No, I mean, but why complain? Like, what do you expect them to do to make themselves ugly?
Yeah, but then, exactly.
Yeah,
No, but,
that's it.
okay, so it brings us back to the Pro Thusi situation, right? Why complain? What did I?
Okay,
Okay,
let me just
obviously,
ask
like
you
I'm in
again.
this position where I'm light skinned and I get these privileges. So why are you complaining to me?
All right, let me ask you this thing. This is what I'm trying to get at.
Be more like Khanyi Mbau, who now changed and okay.
No, don't. Stay the way you are, chief. Like, okay, let me put it like this thing. As a kid, right? Do you have a notion of who's more beautiful? Or do you just enjoy playing with any person until someone comes and tells you that this person is ugly because of this and that, she has a big nose, or blah, 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 blah. Are you aware of those things unless someone makes you aware of them? That's what I want to know.
You see, I also don't know that much. Well, what I do understand is that the environment shapes you, though. So it might not be like what you were told. But then maybe you might see from how other people are behaving. Yeah, sure. How other people are behaving towards a certain person, and you think that that person is pretty, maybe because of seeing how people are responding to their beauty. I guess I don't know. Like it's always like that. Either
But
you
the
were
thing
told,
is, man,
or
I'm sure you would heard this thing in your household when your mom is gossiping with your sister, making fun of someone. Like, yo, who so and so's child is so ugly? Have you seen that nose? And blah 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 blah.
okay. So you're of the notion that you don't know what's ugly.
I don't think as
I-
people, man. I think ugly. The thing is, you have to understand like this, bro. Before we were colonized, I don't think our definition of what ugly is and beautiful
Was based
was
Yeah,
based
yeah,
on color.
It has obviously changed. Yeah, it
Changed
was not on
because of-
color though.
Yeah,
but
it's not.
but you know, I think beauty is a concept that has stood the test of time. I think even back then there was somebody who was prettier than the next person, who was
Obviously.
more handsome than the
But
next
I'm
person.
sure it was based on just
Even in the
symmetry and all
Bible,
that stuff.
even in the Bible, like if you read some certain sections, there are people who are selected for their beauty, or the people that were.
If it's in the Bible.
Here's how I
If it's in
feel.
the Bible,
it's there, though, like
it's
it's-
sinful, yeah. Which means God made it on purpose. Because He's the one that made these people beautiful.
Look,
and ugly.
here's how I feel about this beauty thing. I think people become ugly when you compare someone to the next
To
person.
the next person, yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
if you
when
just
they
look at
become
them as they
ugly.
are, you will find something beautiful about them.
Exactly. But
That's
now
what I
when you
was
put
saying.
someone else who doesn't look like them,
Them.
then
Now you have to obviously
Yeah,
weigh
yeah,
someone
yeah.
down.
That's where the beauty.
Someone has to win, someone has to lose.
Yeah, of course,
basically.
It's always like that.
And I think
Competition.
sometimes it might come to preference. Have you ever met someone who's in love with someone and they see that person as beautiful? It's like when we were kids, man. There was always this thing, I think, when we started growing up, like when we started noticing girls now, right? A dude will be sitting in a group, and then a dude says, "Yo, Ninjas, that girl, whoever, yo, she's fire, man." Let's say it's Lerato.
Yeah.
Yo, Ninja, do you know Lerato from wherever? Whatever. And he was like, Lerato from our class. Like, yeah, she's fire. Yo, this nigga just said Lerato is fire.
Yeah.
everyone
And then
in
the
group is
bashing,
making fun of you,
exactly.
and they start
Yeah.
bashing you.
Yeah, you're obviously not gonna get into that
understand?
relationship, my nigga.
So these niggas begin to shape your mind.
Yeah, of
as to
course, yeah.
What you should go
It
for.
is what it is, yeah.
But you saw something beautiful in that person. They are not seeing it
Yeah.
for their own personal
Well,
reasons.
now that I remember, I think I was like, yeah, I don't think I was really seeing somebody as prettier because they were.
I've never had that
light-skinned,
thing,
like
man. I think
me.
it was trained.
But then it's, yeah, you grow into this thing, man.
Bruh, that's
I
what
think
I'm
it is
saying.
what it is. So it's,
And then people hate you when you when you now choose the other people. But what am I supposed to do now? If I chose the ugly one,
okay.
I'll still be made fun of.
So maybe let's just play a little game here and see who we prefer, right? So we're gonna, we're gonna put two people aside, right? Both light skinned or both dark skinned, and see like which one we think is prettier. All right. So
But all of us now are corrupt, and we're obviously going to choose. I'm sure.
no. It's not like dark skinned versus light skinned now, no. Well, for now it's just like within group differences. Let's see.
Okay. Anyway, let's go.
Okay, we
But I'm
have
sure we're all corrupt. We'll choose one person. I'm sure.
yeah, of course, Tando Tabete versus
Oh, Tando Tabete.
she's light skinned, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
Versus Pro Thusi.
They're both light skinned.
Yeah,
They're both light skinned, so now you would have to choose. So
Honestly-
and they have like different attributes to them.
Ninja, I
Like
would
Tando
take-
Tabete
I
is
would- I would
like,
take Tando Tabete.
is it?
Ah, Ninja,
Is
that
that
body.
your food, my G?
That body there.
Yeah,
Ninja
no,
is
like
fire,
no, I do
spectacular.
get that. Like it's
Well,
yeah.
this is a bit
Peltos
sexy
is
for me.
beautiful than Tando though.
I know,
On the
facial wise.
facial wise,
Facial
right?
wise.
Ah, but she doesn't have
So-
the type of body I prefer myself.
Is it?
The legs there.
Yeah,
Ninja,
no,
Tando
like,
Tabete,
yeah.
Ninja. Yeah, I'm just
All right.
I'll actually prefer Peltos over Tando.
Facial wise,
Is it?
Pearl Thusi is
Facial
nice.
wise.
But the thing is, for me, man, there's other things that I don't like about Pearl Thusi.
What other things though?
Ninja, that one, she used to date Robert Marawa back in the days.
Is it?
Yes, and then they broke up. Ah, Ninja, the way things went down on Twitter, yeah, after the breakup, I saw a side of
How
it.
long back is this?
It's recent, man. I think
It's
so.
recent.
not
Yeah, or
that far.
2 years ago.
Yeah, or two, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way she went on Twitter, Ninja, making fun out of Robert Marawa's penis and stuff. Yeah, I was like,
Is it?
yeah.
But no,
I
let's
see.
not get into detail. Let's just pick.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is now, man,
We're
from-
just looking at what do you
The
call it, like, as
more
a-
appealing
Okay,
ones
so what?
Yeah.
for you.
You're speaking about only physical attributes.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
the
You just met
personality
them
or
only
anything.
today. There they are. Two of them. Who are you gonna go for?
Ninja, I'm not lying. Tando Tabete Ninja has attributes
Oh,
I
so
like. The thick lips.
You are a body person. That's what it is.
It's beyond just the body. Look, the body is fine.
Yeah, I understand.
But the
like,
lips, yeah, as well.
Okay.
All of that stuff. Like, look, Pearl Thusi is fine. But she has, I don't know, man. Let's just say the body structure for me doesn't do things. And she doesn't have the sexy. She's like a pretty person to look at, but she doesn't have the sex appeal for me.
Oh, okay.
So now let's go to Bonang and DJ Zinhle.
How about those people are not the same? Like, DJs in days darker skin.
Exactly.
Is it?
That's what
Oh, is it?
I'm trying to say
And Bonang
something.
Mateb.
here. Bonang Mateb and DJ Zinhle. Who would
The
you
thing
go
is,
for?
I've never thought Bonang is pretty, my G.
People
Like,
say that.
I just see her there and she's like glam and all of that stuff. But it's for me, she's never really been that pretty. I'll choose DJ Sinclair.
Ninja, honestly.
Well, despite the fact that she sometimes look tomboyish.
yeah,
But
that's the
still,
thing.
she still flames for me, though.
But now I just don't like the slay queen personality she has. Man.
Is
I
it?
don't like the personality she has.
Posh.
She has that weird. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'll go for DJ Zinhle.
I'll go for Zinhle.
All right, yeah.
So it
yeah.
has nothing to. Bonang is a bit lighter, but I'll still go for DJ Zinhle.
Ninja,
Yeah,
Zinhle,
yeah,
and
dog,
the
like
body
it's-
there on
Oh,
Zinhle
okay,
is
okay,
fine.
okay. So let's make it fair. We'll look for somebody that's like almost dark skinned. Pearl Mudiadi.
Yeah.
And DJ Sinclair. Now you'll have to choose.
You know, you can still different choose though between
Between who?
Pearl Thusi and.
Oh, I didn't get to
Tando
choose.
Tabete.
Hey, bruh. Pearl Thusi for me. Man.
Okay, that's good. Ninja, we're waiting for you. Tell us.
I said Peltos.
Yeah, Ninja. I know. I'm okay. Pearl Thusi is fine, but
Hey, my dog. Like
she just
it's,
doesn't have the body for me, man.
I think it's like she's black and all, but she also has these exotic features as well, dog.
She does. That's the thing.
Tando's not actually that beautiful, my niggas. Tando.
She's not like
When you compare it with Peltos.
Look, let me put it like this, man. Tando Tabete is not like facial wise. I don't think she's ugly.
No, she's not
I
ugly.
think she's
She's
beautiful.
that's alright.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
She's okay.
She's great, bro.
She's just alright.
She's just okay. But there's just features about like that she has, man, that I just prefer, like the lips and the type of body she has.
Oh,
Okay.
Whereas for
Those
me,
lips.
I don't know, man. I don't think I'm attracted to petite type of body structure.
Is it? Hey, bro, can you handle it though? Like it's a common thing for
I
us
think
to
I'm-
just
I
be
think-
saying that we want the booty and all that stuff, but
Can I handle it? Ninja, I think most girls I've dated, if not all of them, have some form of body to them. I've never dated a petite person. Like, I'm sure you've noticed by now, the trend. All of them. I'm not going to list them, but I'm sure.
So yeah, right. So there's no conspiracy there. It's true. That's what you are after. If you've stood the test of time with those ones, then I'm pretty sure that you can handle it, dog. Like it is what it is.
I don't think it's what I normally look for, man. 'Cause sometimes I think it's just something that's so easy. Like, I don't know, man. I think it's just within me. I just like things to be a nice package. I think for me, man, I would choose someone who just looks okay in the face and has a nice, okay body, than someone who has a pretty face with a weird body.
Yeah.
Or someone
Like
with
Wendy
a nice
Williams,
body and
yeah,
ugly face.
What's weird though?
What? Weird body.
Wendy
Like someone who doesn't have a
Williams.
shape, man. Like,
What's
no.
weird is Wendy Williams. Have you seen Wendy Williams?
Oh, yeah, the one with the show, right?
Yeah.
Wendy Williams, the one that looks like Michael Jackson watched.
Yeah, man. She's fine on the face.
Is she
yeah,
trans,
but
man,
the
that
board, yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Is she trans?
I know she's a woman.
She's a woman. Yeah, man, I always assumed she was trans.
It's just that her body,
Bro, I always assumed she was a trans person.
Is it? I had never really seen much.
Yeah,
The thing is, I've always seen her sitting, so I'm not too sure like how she looks like.
The thing is, I think she
down,
just
so
broke
good.
up with the husband, right?
Is it?
And then the husband confessed and said, he's gay. It turns out the husband is gay, and she's,
Yeah.
and the guy said he only dated her because he assumed the girl was actually trans, and that's why. Yeah, which was a shocking thing. Painful shit to be told, man.
So let's go back to to this game. So you say Pelmo, Diadia, and
Essentially,
things.
yeah.
And DJ's insane.
Yeah, it
But
was a
DJ's
colour
insane was
song.
just them before.
Yeah, but I don't. How many other dark-skinned women in the history do you remember? Quickly now.
there's Miss Cosmo.
Ninja.
Miss who?
Miss Cosmo.
Who is Miss Cosmo now?
That
Which one? The
DJ,
bald one?
that radio DJ.
I have not seen yet.
Came on fire.